I've been doing a lot of work with labor unions. And we talk about the recall a lot. We talk about how labor unions are framed. And this is something that I'm hoping we're going to have a big project working on with reframing labor. Because when we talk about systemic causation in economics, labor unions are critical to a healthy economic system. We'll get to that in detail. But I ran across this video. This is Scott Walker. The date is February 19, 2011. Does everybody remember what was happening on February?
Yeah.
This was the first public statement Scott Walker made after the protest started. And my theory is that the recall was won at this very moment. Let's see why. Listen to what he's, now that you know all about conservative framing, et cetera, et cetera.
Appreciate the opportunity to give you an update as to what's going on, or in this case, in some cases, not going on in the state capitol. First off, I want to begin certainly acknowledging the thousands of people who are outside protesting, many of whom are from the state of Wisconsin. Many more lately have been coming in from other parts across the country. Certainly acknowledge their right to be heard. But I particularly want to thank the 300,000 plus state and local workers from across Wisconsin. They didn't skip out on work, showed up for their jobs, did their jobs the way that they have done in the past, and I believe will do in the future. And that is good, the good professional public servants, and we appreciate the work that they continue to do. Certainly, again, as I mentioned,
so, my theory is that in the first 54 seconds of that statement, that he secured a win in the recall election. And that what the unions did was validated everything that he said in that statement, in their own messaging. So, what did he say?
Responsibility to go to work.
What's that?
Responsibility to go to work.
Hard work.
Responsibility, yes. Bill. I'm terrible. Responsibility.
We can't see it anyway.
Okay. Who's hard working? Yes. And what are they?
Good.
They're disciplined. They're moral. The people who didn't work, what are they? Undisciplined, immoral, and because of that, what do they deserve?
Nothing.
No, they deserve to be punished. They deserve to be punished, and painfully. Therefore, he had a moral obligation to enact Act 10.
That's why.
That's why he won the recall. He framed Act 10 as morally necessary because all those public employees are immoral and undisciplined. Does anybody disagree that that's what he was saying? And what I love, some of my best friends are in the public sector unions. I love them all to death, and we've talked about this endlessly. You saw people carrying around signs that said, I'm a union thug. They were reinforcing that message. It is so powerful when you create metaphors like that. And the imagery. It didn't matter that everyone, except for 2 or 3% of people were from the state of Wisconsin. It didn't matter that we weren't really in a budget crisis. Right? It was a moral decision on his part. Right? And he's the strict father. So he's the highest authority, right? So I think that was where the recall was lost.
Use the term the good workers.
Exactly.
The good workers. The suggestion being the protesters are the bad workers.
Absolutely, yes. He said it. He literally said the phrase. That's incredibly powerful. So, what should the labor unions have said? This is a hard one because I'm going to tell you. The conservatives have reframed labor unions the way they want to. Collective bargaining evokes the conservative frame. Why? Because if you need the collective to bargain for your wages, you are not disciplined enough to do it yourself. You need to be self-reliant. It's really, and this has been going on for decades. So, how does labor reframe themselves?
Public schools or public institutions are the heart of our community. We are upholding the freedom and the opportunity for our citizens, our community.
They had an opportunity with, you're really close. They had an opportunity with something he said. He acknowledged them as public servants. They're all public servants. And why is that important? Because private prosperity is not possible without the public. You want to start a corporation? Those hardworking people at DOR and DWD and whatever the hell the old institute, now it's DSPS, they get that done for you. You want kids that are educated? The teachers do that for you. They are public servants. Your private prosperity, our freedom, our democracy depend on those public servants, all of them. I think they should have said that and then called a general strike. And showed solidarity and said, you know what? You pick on one, you pick on all of us. You want private prosperity? Try it without us. A day without a teacher, a day without a garbage collector. Look at how crazy things are when there's a snow day at school. Oh my God, I was in Chicago one day last year and they called off school at CPS. There were going to be riots on the street, right? I mean, because parents that work 3 jobs, what are they going to do with their kids? That's how. So I got a couple. Let me just. So this is kind of what I've been working with the labor union. So first of all, this is because you got Marty Beal, God love him. He's been saying the same thing for 40 years, and they say collective bargaining. But as I said, that evokes a conservative frame, right? It's a little longer-winded, but if you say negotiate for a fair portion of profits, if you're a profit creator, why shouldn't you get a fair portion of profits? Right? See, it all becomes systemic.
Does that work in the public sector though, when you're not talking about
profits? Right. Well, the public sector is, it's the public service. And right. Here's the other thing. Unions, they stand for the freedom of people to organize in a democracy. What's more democratic than a union?
the empowerment?
Exactly. This kind of goes beyond. Unions empower people to be free from want and fear through living wages, adequate benefits, and humane labor practices. If there had been a strong union at GM, do you think somebody might have blown the whistle on all those defective parts? Corporations will not pay your worth without a union.
Scott, is there any way that we can get access
Yeah, Anne's gonna email it out to everybody. That's why she got your email list.
And we take notes.
No, but you should take notes, because
Yeah, I know, it reinforces.
we're exercising the and this is, again, systemic. Your labor has a higher value with a union than as an individual, right? And this is not just for people in a union, this is everybody. See, again, systemic.
Union wages sets the frame.
Exactly. And that needs to be said. Here's, again, we're through public servants. Public workers are public servants. And again, it all boils down to this. Private enterprise and prosperity are not possible without the public, and that includes servants, employees, workers. The court system, streets, sanitation, teachers, right? Try having a prosperous community without those people. It's impossible.